Jana Vallabha Shri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavindi ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Tulsi Ma Kharani ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glory to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Hari Hari Bol. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutade Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dikshitarini. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 I was asked to speak a little bit about the glories of the Srimad Bhagavatam today. Some of you might have been to India or you were born in India. And when they do when they worship the Ganges, how do they do that? You know how they worship the Ganges? They take a little bit of water from the Ganges. It's the Ganges water, they're off of the Ganges. Or when they worship the sun, they make some fire and it's coming from the sun. So I'm making an analogy in a similar way. One way to understand the glories of the Srimad Bhagavatam is to cite verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam itself. You follow, just like offering water to the Ganges. So we'll start out with this. This is a verse. It's a little strong verse from the second chapter, first canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll chant it responsively, and then we'll talk a little bit about that. Okay. You should sit there up there? Okay, good. Dharma svanushtita pumsam.
Dharma swanishtata pumsam.
Dharma svanushtita pumsam.
Dharma swanishtata pumsam.
Vishvakshena katasuya.
Vishvasena kathasuya.
Vishvakshena katasuya.
Vishvasena kathasuya.
Notpadayed yadiratim.
Notpadayed yadiratim.
Notpadayed yadiratim.
Notpadayed yadiratim.
Shrama eva hi kevalam.
Shrama kevalam.
Shrama eva hi kevalam.
Shrama eva hi kevalam.
Ladies, would a lady like to? Go ahead, yeah. Oh, can you see it on here? 128, 128. Okay, big. There, that's pretty big there. Yes. Go ahead, yes.
Dharma svanustita pumsam.
Dharma svanustita pumsam.
Vishvakshena katasuya.
Vishvakshena katasuya.
Notpadayet yadi ratim.
Notpadayet yadi ratim.
Shrama eva hi kevalam.
Shrama eva hi kevalam. Dharma svanushtita pumsam. Vishvakshena kathasuya.
Notpadayet yadiratim.
Shrama eva hi kevalam. Men, gentlemen.
Dharma svanushtita pumsam.
Dharma svanushtita pumsam.
Vishvaksena kathasuya.
Vishvakshena kathasuya.
Notpadayet yadiratim.
Notpadayet yadiratim.
Shrama eva hi kevalam.
Shrama eva hi
kevalam.
Dharma swanishtata pumsam.
Dharma svanushtita pumsam.
Vishvakshena kathasuya.
Vishvakshena kathasuya.
Notpadayet yadiratim.
Notpadayet yadiratim.
Shrama eva hi kevalam.
Shrama eva hi kevalam. Dharma. Occupation. Svanushtita. Executed in terms of one's own position.
Executed in terms of own position.
Pumsam.
Pumsam.
Of humankind.
Of humankind.
It doesn't say mankind here, it says humankind. Vishvakshena.
Vishvakshena.
The personality of Godhead, plenary portion.
The personality of God, a plenary portion.
Kathasu. In the message of.
The message of.
Ya. What is?
What is?
Na.
Not.
Utpadayit.
Utpadayet.
Does produce. Yadi. If. Ratim.
Attraction.
Shrama.
Useless labor.
Eva. Only. He. Certainly. Kevalam. Entirely. Translation. The occupational activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. Purport. There are different occupational activities in terms of man's different conceptions of life. To the gross materialist who cannot see anything beyond the gross material body, there is nothing beyond the senses. Therefore, his occupational activities are limited to concentrated and extended selfishness. Do you understand that? What does that mean? Concentrated and extended selfishness.
We are focusing only on our duties, what we think.
But yes, that's true. But what's the difference between concentrated and extended? Any idea what that means?
Some could be
Yes.
concentrated like me, extended like my family, but anything which belongs to me, like my relationships.
Good yes. Family, neighborhood, country, ethnic group, society, all that. That's extended selfishness. Good. Concentrated selfishness centers around the personal body. This is generally seen amongst the lower animals. Extended selfishness is manifested in human society and centers around, as you said, the family, society, community, nation, and world with a view to gross bodily comfort. Above these gross materialists are the mental speculators who hover aloft in the mental spheres, and their occupational duties involve making poetry and philosophy or propagating some ism with the same aim of selfishness limited to the body and mind. But above the body and mind is the dormant spirit soul, whose absence from the body makes the whole range of bodily and mental selfishness completely null and void. But less intelligent people have no information of the needs of the spirit soul. Because foolish people have no information of the soul and how it is beyond the purview of the body and mind, they are not satisfied in the performance of their occupational duties. It says you're foolish people. See, there's a little bit of strong language in these verses. You follow it. But it's not my strong language. This is Vyasadev's strong language. Vyasadeva is the author of the Vedas. And Shukadeva Goswami and Sutta Goswami are repeating this. It's strong. It's strong. Sometimes a little bit of push is required, You don't want to do something, but you need a little push to get going. I don't want to exercise, get a little push, right? Like that. In the United States, it's common. I don't know if it happens in India too, but people think they want to be number one. USA number one, USA number, isn't it? I think they killed a terrorist and so then USA number one. This is a different kind of number one. Fool number one. We think we're the body, that's full number one. The question of the satisfaction of the self is raised herein. The self is beyond the gross body and subtle mind. He is the potent active principle of the body and mind, and without knowing the need of the dormant soul, one cannot be happy. Simply with emolument of the body and mind. The body and mind are but superfluous outer coverings of the soul. You know that Krishna says that and this is the first part of the Bhagavad Gita in the second chapter. I think, you know some of those verses from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
How does that go?
Matra spasastu kamte aur na jayate mriteva va kadachin.
Yeah, the soul, najayate mriyate, it's never born nor dies. Vasansi jirnani yata vihaya. It's like in the winter time, you have your regular clothes, and what do you have if you're going outside? What do you wear? Coat, jacket. If you're from India, you wear a jacket in the winter time. If you're in the United States, you wear a coat. But still, there's the outer covering and the inner covering, right? The outer covering being the jacket or coat, and the inner covering means your clothes. But inside that is you, right? So people in general, we don't, in this world, we don't have any conception of what the you is. We're only concerned with the coat and the inner and the clothes. The coat is the gross body, and the clothes or the underwear is the subtle body. Gross body is made of physical material elements you can touch, and they burn and cut and stuff like that. The subtle body is made of mind, intelligence, and ego. You can't touch it, but it's there. Everybody knows it's there. Everybody knows. It's not. It carries the soul to its next body at death, according to your karma and your consciousness. To get out of the limited sphere of material bondage and fulfill his desire for complete freedom. He wants to get out of the covered walls of the greater universe. He wants to see the free light and spirit. That complete freedom is achieved when he meets the complete spirit. So, according to this, one can meet the complete spirit. Another name for the complete spirit would be, what's another name for the complete spirit? Krishna. That's right. Very good. Very good. There is a dormant affection for God within everyone. Spiritual existence is manifested through the gross body and mind in the form of perverted affection for this gross and subtle matter. Therefore, we have to engage ourselves in occupational engagements that will evoke our divine consciousness. This is possible only by hearing and chanting the divine activities of the Supreme Lord. And any occupational activity which does not help achieve this attainment of hearing and chanting the transcendental message of Godhead is said to be simply a waste of time. This is because other occupational duties, whatever ism they may be, cannot give liberation to the soul. Even the activities of the salvationists are considered to be useless because of their failure to pick up the fountainhead of all liberties. The gross materialist can practically see that his material gain is limited only to time and space, either in this world or in the other world. Even if he goes up to Swargaloka. You know what Swargaloka is?
The demigod planet.
Heaven.
Heaven, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, just, not everybody will know Swargaloka. That's what I'm saying. He will find no permanent abode for his hankering soul. The hankering soul must be satisfied by the perfect scientific process of perfect devotional service. Om Agyana Timiram Nashagananjana Shalakaya Chakshusmitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapidam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katavahim Dadati Shapandantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasani Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So did you remember what the verse is? What was the meaning of the verse? Anybody in your own words if you don't remember the exact? You always say, I'm not going to guess. You always say. What was the meaning of this verse that we read here? Without looking, without cheating. Come on. You were listening. Were you listening? Yeah, okay, come on.
I think people are engaged in useless form of labor.
Huh?
Materialist people are engaged in useless
Yes. Well, that's true. And so, but this was saying that the whole purpose of dharma can mean many things. You know, sometimes dharma is translated as religion, but it's really not religion. But it could be, you know, sometimes people say, I have Hindu dharma or Christian dharma or Muslim dharma. Sometimes dharma is interpreted to mean your occupational duty. You know, I'm a teacher, I'm a medical doctor, something like that. Sometimes dharma is interpreted to mean I'm a dad, I'm a mom, I'm a kid, those kinds of things. I'm an aunt, I'm an uncle, I'm a grandparent. These are all might be considered dharma. So whatever that dharma that you have in your consciousness, that you're thinking, you're acting on the basis of, that dharma, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very, very heavy, is if that dharma you're doing doesn't help you, make you develop an attraction to hear about God, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. Oh, that's a very, very strong statement. Very strong statement, isn't it? Because, I mean, there's so many things people do, and they're glorified in human society. But all of them, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, says they're a waste of time. Oh my God.
So give up your occupation.
No, I said, if you don't help you get a taste for the activities and hearing about God. You know, how do you get your tastes? You know, everybody, you know, people have their favorite food, their favorite movie, their favorite novel, their favorite sports person. How do you develop, your favorite TV show? How do you get those favorites? How does it happen? You have to come in contact with them, right? And you may have some particular material affinity in your past life, and you're certain the way you're brought up. Sometimes it's not unusual because I have to interview people. Sometimes they say, "Gosh, when I was 5 years old, my mother started giving me a little bit of cognac, a little bit of beer." Does that happen? One time I was invited to a Indian program, Indian social program. It was Gujarati, but that's an Indian social program. And there was a guy on stage, and I couldn't understand the Gujarati, but he was dancing around and then jumping up and having a great time. And then I asked afterwards, what was that all about? He said he was glorifying pan. Pan. I thought that was really, really weird. But then I thought, well, actually, that's just the Indian way of doing things. We do similar things here. You see, in this country, you get people like, the Rolling Stones, and this is old. But they're jumping up and down and dancing about something very similar. They can't get any satisfaction. And, it's the same idea. People are jumping up and down, doing things just for. Because they've got to develop a taste for those things over time because they've engaged in them again and again and again. But because they're on the level of the body, it doesn't work. Because naturally, our position, our dharma, is meant to help us link up with God. Because in reality, we're all eternal servants of God. On the spiritual level, that's our identity. So anything else really is superfluous. That's why in the second verse of, I said I would say some verses from Srimad Bhagavatam to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. The second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam goes like this. Dharma prochita kaitavota paramo nirmatsaranam satam. You know this? Yeah. Dharma, this Srimad Bhagavatam kicks out all other kinds of dharma. Kaitava means, you know what kaitava means?
False.
Cheating. It's false or cheating, both. Yeah, because a lot of the dharmas or religions that people have manufactured, they're there so that they can get something for themselves. They're really it's not for service to God, it's service to us. So Srimad Bhagavatam right at the beginning says, we're not going to deal with that stuff. We get rid of that. And this can be understood. Nirmatsaranam satam. This can only be understood by those people who are nirmatsaranam means not envious. Usually in this world, everybody's envious of somebody else, isn't it? They got something I don't have and I want it. And the ultimate envy goes to God. Right? We are here in this material world because we had envy of God. God has everything. And we think, gosh, I should have something more than that too. Right? So this is going on. Nirmatsaranam. But people who have free from envy, they can appreciate the Srimad Bhagavatam. So another verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, very next verse. Shrota Vyadini Rajendra, Nrinam Santi Sahasrasha. You know that verse. That means that in the human society, there's all kinds of things, of subject matters for people to talk about. And we talk about it, right? Everybody talks about them. If you go to a library, have you been to a library? Sure. There's thousands and thousands of books, and somebody wrote all those books. Well, different people wrote all those. There's thousands of subject matters, right? But apashyatam atmatattvam viheshu vihamedina. But all those subject matters have only to do with the superfluous coverings of the body, the gross material body or the subtle mind. They have nothing to do with our real self. So therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam was saying here, those things, they're really a waste of time because they don't bring you to your position where you'll be happy. It's described that we had a temple in the Catskill Mountains called Lake Huntington. Most of you, you remember this. Nobody else remembers this. You do? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, there was a big pond on Lake Huntington. We used to have a summer camp there, and in that pond, around the pond, there's some amphibious creatures that make noise. What are they called? Frogs, bullfrogs. So those bullfrogs would go at night, not all during the day, but at night they go, rah, and it'd be like deafening sound. I mean, how can a little creature make this sound? Rah, rah, very, croaking, loud croaking. And every once in a while, you hear a croaking, then all of a sudden, ah! Any idea what that was?
It caught something.
Snake.
The snake, because there was also snakes, a lot of snakes there. So the croaking of the frog, the snake hears it and they come and they swallow up the frog. So Srimad Bhagavatam says that's what it's like in this world when we utilize our time and our energy to glorify and to pay attention to and to consider and to wonder about material subject matters other than Krishna consciousness, the glories of the Lord, other than things like Srimad Bhagavatam. Because that time and energy that you give can never be brought back. Therefore it said, Ayushak Kshane Kopi Nalabhya Sarvakotivi. You know who said that? Chanakya. But life's, even a moment's time is so valuable because even a moment you can't purchase back even if you're a crorepati. You may think you can, but you can't. You can't take it back. So how is it possible to get the taste for hearing about Vishvakshena? That's the point. So this says that our life is wasted labor unless we get that taste. How can we get the taste? The first thing that's recommended there's a process, like devotional service is a process of how to make progress in spiritual life. There are different stages in making progress. The first step, which you are all doing, is called Adal Shraddha. Shraddha means faith. Yeah, so in the beginning, there's got to be faith to come and pay attention to and seek spiritual instruction, guidance, knowledge. Yeah, Adal Shraddha. And then the next thing is Tata Sadhu Sangha. To find out persons who have some spiritual knowledge and hear from them. So that's why we read from here, because the author here has definite spiritual knowledge. So that procedure, that process of developing taste is mentioned again in Srimad Bhagavatam. It goes like this. This is from the third canto. Third canto. Satam prasangam mama virya samvido. Satam prasangam. You know what that means? Sat means these saintly persons. Prasangam means associating with saintly persons. Some virya samvido, and in that association of holy persons, there's going to be a discussion about the spiritual. The virya. Virya means wonderful activities of God. Bhavantirit karna rasayana kata. And that information, the sound vibration, nectarian information goes into your ears and penetrates to your heart. And then step by step, it stops the cycle of birth and death. Shraddha, Ratir, Bhakti, Anukramishiti. And step by step, you develop faith. And then the next one is Rati. Rati means attraction or taste. Taste, like we said. A taste. So Shraddha, Ratir, Bhaktir, Anukramishiti, one after the other. Bhakti means love or devotion. Yeah. That's the steps. Boom, boom, boom. It starts with Satam Prasangam, just like you're doing here. So this is like the main business of temples. The main business of temples is for people to come together and hear the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His devotees. And you know where you find that stuff the best? Any guesses? Very good, very good. Srimad Bhagavatam, that's all it's about. There's nothing else inside there. There's no, stuff about politics or, this and that. Nothing. It's all about Krishna, His devotees, and their interaction that's called Bhakti Yoga. So this is, if somebody told you, hey, there's a book that describes, the activities of God. It's not just like a little book. It's a big book. It goes on and on and on about the activities of God. That's something really wonderful, isn't it? It's amazing. So this is a very unusual and a great opportunity we have to think about and study that, and gradually, as we hear, just like when you, if a person has jaundice, maybe somebody's had jaundice here before, liver ill. You had jaundice? Okay. Mild case. So they say, I haven't had jaundice so far, but they say that if you have jaundice, then sugar has a bad taste. But what's the cure for jaundice?
We used to have the neem leaves ground up.
Huh?
Neem leaves are ground up. Ayurvedic treatment.
Ayurvedic, see, other Ayurvedic treatment is lots of sugar. What do you call that?
Sugar cane.
The little piece of sugar.
Rock candy.
Rock candy. Yes. You take rock candy regularly, even though it tastes bad. But if you keep on taking it, then it regains its sweet taste and no more jaundice. This is the principle of how Srimad Bhagavatam works to purify the subtle body, so that after this end of this life, you don't get another body, but you go back to the spiritual kingdom. Srila Prabhupada described it was like, some people like to go on vacations. Have you gone on vacation before? Yeah. So before you go on vacation, you get some pamphlets. Yeah? And it says, well, gosh, there's these attractions here. And you want to go to Las Vegas. So they have a musical show there, right? With some singers and dancers and stuff. Okay, so you get attracted and say, oh, let me go. I got news for you. Kata ganam natyam gamanam apivam sipriyasaki. In that spiritual world, there's an amazing dancer there, Nataraj. And there's a musical performance. It's so powerful that the whole universe is attracted by that flute song of Krishna. Vamsi Priyasaki. Vamsi Priyasaki. And there's, back in the early 1900s, there was a miracle in Portugal. I don't know if you know this, but a place called Fatima. You know this? There were some 3 little shepherd people who, two, I think. And they were like 10 years old, and then all of a sudden they saw out of the sky descending Mary, the mother of Jesus. You know this? And she told them, okay, I'm gonna come here every month for the next 6 months. And so gradually, by the time that the 6 months came, she came every month, there was like 1 million people were there trying to see this, because it was a wonderful thing. Well, guess what? In the spiritual world, and even in this material world, when Krishna does his activities, there's miraculous things occurring every single day. And they're there, recorded in Srimad Bhagavatam. And you see them here, right? Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill. Krishna killing Putana. All these things are there. So how will you be attracted? If you want to go to Las Vegas or Rome or something, you get your brochure and you study it, you think, oh, this is very wonderful, I'm going to go. So by studying the Srimad Bhagavatam, that's how your desire and attraction will become to go back to Godhead. Otherwise it won't happen. Otherwise it won't happen. Okay, I think I've taken my time.
Still have time.
Okay, that's okay. Oh, one other point. And so, in order for this to be effective, really effective, Lord Chaitanya said this: Bhagavata Paragiya Bhagavata Sthane. You know this? Bhagavata Paragiya Bhagavata Sthane. In order for the Bhagavatam to be effective and potent, it has to be heard not from a professional person or from a speculator or from a person who doesn't believe in God or believes God is formless. No. When we are happy, we're happy with other persons. If you have to think about it, if you wanted to go on vacation and you went to a tropical island in the Caribbean Ocean, and you were the only person there, even though it was very nice and warm, and there was nice waves, and maybe you had your computer there, I don't know. But would you be happy there by yourself? No, because naturally you want to have relationships with others. So God is a person. And those who accept God as the person and develop their relationship with God, they can be the most effective in transmitting the message of Srimad Bhagavatam to others. So then it becomes very, very potent. So therefore, Saddam Sangam or Bhagavata Paragiya Bhagavata Sthane. So this is our great opportunity for us to develop our taste for hearing about Krishna. So therefore the temple every single morning, I think. Yeah, there's a class here in the morning, every single morning. And then sometimes in the evening too, on a few days. So encourage everybody to come and participate. This initiative on the full moon I see there's the golden thrones up there, right? It's a great initiative to revitalize and to point out this important aspect of Krishna consciousness. So please take advantage. Does it have to end on today, or can it go on? Can we make it some?
It can always go on. Today is a special day, so but then there's no special day. But this can definitely go on.
Maybe I'm just talking. I have no authority to say, but maybe we could make the Srimad Bhagavatam, at least if not all the Srimad Bhagavatams, the first volumes of Srimad Bhagavatams are kind of like the center for this Rath Yatra. I don't think in our Rath Yatras we've had the Srimad Bhagavatam on the carts with Lord Jagannath. I mean, because these books are as worshipable as Krishna. Idam Bhagavatam Nama. You know this one? Idam Bhagavatam, that book called the Bhagavatam, Puranam Brahma Samhitam. That Purana is Brahma Samhitam. It's this full God. It's an incarnation of God, just like Lord Chaitanya was an incarnation of Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is an incarnation. Puranam Brahma Uttama Shloka Charitam, because it's all about the activities of God. Chakara Bhagavan Rishi, and it's compiled by an incarnation of God also. Dhanyam Swasti Ayanam Mahat. And it's all blissful, all wonderful, and all perfect. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
A couple questions?
Do they have other questions? Yeah, sure. I probably, I don't know if I can answer them, but I'll do the best. Puranam Brahma. Lord Chaitanya called the Srimad Bhagavatam the Amalam Puranam. There's 18 Puranas, but Lord Chaitanya called it Amalam Puranam. It's spotless. Yes, sir.
So you were talking about hearing the Bhagavatam and giving the verses for association, I was thinking earlier in that same section, Shushu Shuru Shradhamasha, by service of the Lord Jesus Mahatma, great souls, says a great service is done. And what happens is that they bless us with the affinity to hear the messages of Srimad Bhagavatam. And I mean, it's so nice because all in Bhagavatam, they come together understanding the Savior and they knew how pathetic our situation was going to be, and they wanted to bless us like that. I just but the fact that we can get blessed to be able to hear, and that's a big thing because Prabhupada, remember Prabhupada had that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, he loves to hear.
Yes.
So it's like a blessing, and I just figured if we just speak how we hear in the olden days, but today we can also be blessed.
Yeah, there's so many ways to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Now people have like calls and you have like digital information, digital thing. I have Srila Prabhupada's, all those Prabhupada's lectures. When I go in the car, just turn it on. I hear it all the time. So those are those things. And as you said, it goes along with. So it's hearing a service, but then naturally when you hear about this, you want to have the opportunity to do some other kinds of services too. Naturally. So they go very nicely together like that. There's some strong words in Srimad Bhagavatam again. It says, Svavid Varaha Ostrakarai Samstuti Purushat Pashu. You know this? It said this is in that same area in second kind of. Said that people who are like Swa means dogs, Varaha means pigs. Yeah, pigs. Vidvaraha means it's very, very graphic. Means stool-eating pigs. So Vidvaraha, Ashtra means camel, and Karai means ass. So samstati, Purusha Pashu. Those people who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses, they spend their time glorifying and being absorbed in things and people who have no interest in God. So, but an interesting thing is that Lord Chaitanya is very kind because there was one dog that came to see Lord Chaitanya. You know this. He was the pet of Shivananda Sen on his way to Jagannath Puri to see Lord Chaitanya. So even the dog, by the mercy of the devotee, got delivered. So even though we're like that, if we take the mercy of, like you said, serving devotees, serving the spiritual master, then we can also get the benefit too. So we have some hope for us. Hare Krishna.
Same talks in Ahar Nidra Bhai Mathanancha.
Yeah.
Same talks in Ahar Nidra Bhai Mathanancha.
Yeah, strong things. Yes, Yatma Buddhi Kuna Petri Dhatu Ke Svadi Kalatradishu Bhoma Ijadi. So another verse, that was Lord Krishna said that verse in the 10th canto when he rescued the kings who had been put in prison by Jarasandha. He said that people who think the body as themselves, Yasyatma Buddhi, made of 3 elements, Svadi Kalatradishu, and who thinks that their families, their kith and kin, Bhoma Ijadi, and they worship their country. Our country is, you know that. You have your similar things in YouTube, I'm sure. Tirtha Buddhi Salilela Karyachit, and they go to holy places, spiritual places, but not to hear. They don't go there to hear. They go further just to take a bath and they go away. That's Saeva Gokara. That is animal persons. Same point. Strong. So the point is let's develop our hearing about Krishna. It's a wonderful opportunity we have these, Prabhu took all his energy, so much of his energy to give us the books. Srimad Bhagavatam. Take advantage. We'll take advantage. Hare Krishna. Is that a question?
So the Bhagavatam consists of the 12 cantos, and in the 10th it exclusively discusses the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Is it okay to go directly to the 10th canto, or should the person progress from canto 1?
That's a very good question. In the beginning of the Hare Krishna movement, Srila Prabhupada brought from India the first canto in 3 volumes. And for like the first several years, that's all there was. And it gives you, I know that some years ago I used to, early on Sunday morning, I used to ride my bicycle, like 10 miles, 12, 20 miles. And then I used to have some kind of muffin that had sesame seeds on it. There's a point to this. But because I was by the time riding for 3 hours or something, I was very hungry, and eating something that was sesame seeds. So then I got this really strong attraction for sesame seeds because I was so hungry, anyway. So when you're very hungry, that first canto for me now is it's wonderful because that's the first thing. Anyway, you see you get the thing? Okay. So, but the point is that he said that at that time the first canto was enough for God consciousness. Generally speaking, you want to go from the first canto step by step to the 10th canto. Why? Because people in general misunderstand Krishna to be an ordinary person. And so the first canto, several cantos, they really spell it out how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How the universes, how the worlds, how the species, everything like that is created. So then when you do get to the 10th canto, you make that very easy, they don't make that mistake of thinking that Krishna and Radharani are some kind of young boy and girl doing some kind of, activities like that. Nevertheless, in 1969, Srila Prabhupada published the Krishna book, which was a 10th canto, summary study of the 10th canto. And there's different reasons why he did that. One reason is because he was not sure that he would be around long enough to finish all the way up to the 10th canto, so he wanted to make sure that his disciples had access to it. But he wrote it in such a way so that there was commentaries that would make sure that people wouldn't mistake and understand and make the mistake of thinking that Krishna is the ordinary person. So usually we study from the first canto on, but it's okay to read the Krishna book. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So thank you to His Grace Vishnugada Prabhu on a wonderful lecture on the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we will now have a very small and sweet ceremony. And this ceremony is open to participation by all. And it is about Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the first time that ISKCON Philadelphia is participating in the Bhadra campaign, and this is a global campaign which is being celebrated in each and every ISKCON temple around the world. And this is about Srimad Bhagavatam. At ISKCON Philadelphia, this is a great opportunity for us to serve the Srimad Bhagavatam by accepting it as a gift, or giving it as a gift to family, friends, co-workers. There's no better gift than this one, and there's no better time to receive it. So even if someone doesn't have a Srimad Bhagavatam, there's no better time to get this book. So what we will do is, we will those who are willing to take Srimad Bhagavatam, they will get the Srimad Bhagavatam set. We have many languages: English, Hindi, Gujarati, Bengali, Tamil, Telugu, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a few more languages. And they will get the Srimad Bhagavatam, one of the books on the Golden Throne, which is currently now offered at the lotus steps of the lotus feet of the lordships, and that is how you get the mercy of going back to Godhead. And the verse is right there on the screen. This is the 12th canto, 13th chapter, 13th verse, where Shukadeva Goswami mentions.
Shri Gurnitai ki Jagara Kulade Subhadra Maharani ki Shri Radha Sharat Vihari ki
Jai. So if you're on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift, he will attain the supreme transcendental destination. So Srimad Bhagavatam, most of us know, comes in 12 cantos, and these are 18 books. For those who are not aware, the cost of getting a complete Srimad Bhagavatam set is $250. And this is a price which is much below what it is typically sold at. And those who really want to get the Srimad Bhagavatam set and they feel like it is a lot, the temple can also arrange for installments on a monthly basis. So it's not about that money should come in the way of someone really wants to get Srimad Bhagavatam. So, is someone interested? Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhu. Hari Bol. So we have 2 people here. Anyone else? Hari Bol. So we have 3.
Are we talking about the set or just one book?
Complete set, Mataji.
I already have.
Okay. You can still use this opportunity to.
I'll take one.
Oh, Hari Bol.
You take credit cards.
We take credit cards. Anyone else? Like Srimad Bhagavatam is considered to be the whole body of Krishna. Sometimes we get the request, can we get only one canto? The first canto is considered to be his lotus feet. So we cannot break the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the 12 cantos represent his complete form. And the 12th canto is his lotus feet. So that's why we always insist, or we always sell Srimad Bhagavatam in the complete set. No one buys one banana. We always buy bananas in bunches. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is always sold in a set. So what we will do is, others still have time to make up their mind. What we will do is, we will start by honoring those who have come forward on this auspicious day of taking a Srimad Bhagavatam set or gifting it to someone. And you can come, and then we will give you as a token. We can open the Srimad Bhagavatam set for you and take out one canto, but then logistically we feel like you can take the complete set, but as a token we will give the first canto, first 8 chapters, the book that Vishnugada Prabhu was reading from, and that we will place on the golden throne and give it to you. And then, but you also get the complete Srimad Bhagavatam set. So we can start. So Prabhu, you want to come forward?
But I didn't have no money.
So that's okay. We can take your details, and you have been coming to the temple regularly, so we can definitely take the Lakshmi from you later. Is it okay? Okay. So you want to come forward, Prabhu? Yeah. So can I humbly request you to give the Srimad Bhagavatam first canto?
First canto.
Yeah, first canto. We will get that and present to Prabhu. We will get it over from here. you get this one now on the throne because we cannot put the set on the throne, but then you also get the complete set. Oh, that's great. Oh, Haribo!
Haribo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Picture. Thank you very
Very good. The interpreter, you want us to get pictures of each person receiving?
Yeah, we will take one.
Okay. We should see.
Prabhu, you want to go further? Oh, okay. Someone can bring up
Daddy.
there it goes. Hello. Do you want to come forward? Put it up. Hare Krishna.
Got it.
Haribo. So we also have Shyam Kumar Prabhu who has who is gifting Srimad Bhagavatam to his family in India. We have Soumya Datri who is gifting a Srimad Bhagavatam to her parents in India. Oh. Here.
Oh, is he gonna get it? Yeah.
There you go. Pretty good deal.
No, you're 251 to the I'm going to Vishnugada Prabhu. It's
Haribo!
Is there anyone else who would like to come? Oh, Haribo! Please come.
Is this real gold? Close enough.
One more thing that we also wanted to share with you is that the golden throne is in the form of Matsya.
Oh,
So it's the Matsya avatar, and we know the Matsya avatar saved the Vedas from the demon Hayagriva. So, there is a significance behind this, and it becomes a golden throne for the Bhadra Purnima. So please come forward.
sorry.
Daddy, you're so amazing.
Haribo!
This is, the picture should go.
Yes, yeah. So we still have some time, and we have lots of thrones, and we have lots of Srimad Bhagavatam sets. So,
So a question, the golden throne, should this be placed, like we have an altar at home, should it be placed on our altar? Like this, or are we allowed to read from it, or how's the golden throne supposed to be used?
so it can be used to also read Srimad Bhagavatam. So typically, as we do the Bhagavad Gita or any other scripture or Granth, so it can be. And that's like, probably if you have any other answer for that. So today is Bhadra Purnima, but then you can still take Srimad Bhagavatam, even if it is not Bhadra Purnima tomorrow or day after tomorrow, or even at the Rath Yatra. So spread the message to your friends, family, co-workers, neighbors about the benefits of Srimad Bhagavatam. Encourage them to take a set. There are only 18,000 verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but if we have a goal of taking up 10 verses in a day, then Srimad Bhagavatam one can read in 5 years. If it's all about setting a goal, and once we take a Srimad Bhagavatam, it's also equally important to go through the scripture so that we also become purified by what is inside. So thank you for coming forward and accepting this scripture on such an auspicious day of Bhadra Purnima. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, I would like to thank the ISKCON Prabhu and the book distribution team for putting this initiative together. We're definitely going to make it a yearly and annual event, Bhadra Purnima. Thank Vishnugada Prabhu for speaking so nicely on the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. And again, if anybody before we leave tonight, if you're interested in purchasing a Srimad Bhagavatam set, you can see the ISKCON Prabhu. Now, where do we give our donation for the books?
So the donation could be given as a check, or now we can take it in the form of a credit card.
Okay.
During the dinner time, so we can come up to the people who have donated it, and we will take the donation.
Okay. Everybody get that? Everybody get that? Okay. Tomorrow we have a cleanup for Rath Yatra. So Rath Yatra is now 2 weeks away, starting tomorrow. So from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock tomorrow, you can come for, we'll have a lunch at around 12:30. We've got a lot to do to get ready for Rath Yatra. The more hands we have, the more we can do. So please come out tomorrow, 9 to 1 o'clock. Even if you can't come for the full 4 hours, you can come for 2 hours, 3 hours, 1.5 hours. Any help you can give will be much appreciated.
Bring your friends too.
Bring your friends. Right now we have some prasadam. It'll be served in the old temple room. So again, thanks for coming. Rataraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.